to the Recovery Daily podcast. I'm Rachel Abasi. I'm a grateful recovering alcoholic and stroke survivor. Act normal, Rachel, because it's a big day. It's my anniversary. So I'm 9 years sober today. 9 years ago, I thought about it. I woke up this morning at like 4, something like that. And I thought, right about now, that detox nurse was coming in my room, testing my blood alcohol content level to see if I was zero yet, and I wasn't. But at like 6:30, I was. And that's why today is my anniversary, because it was the first day, April 28th, 2016, that my blood alcohol content read zero. Um, and it hadn't been at zero for, well, I guess 8 months before that, when it got to zero at detox, the prior stay. But then before that, I didn't not drink for years and years and years. So, I'm pretty excited today. In sobriety, I feel like my anniversary is more important than my birthday because I wouldn't be here without it. Um, so today, my sister and my mom and my niece came over, and we had a kind of a test run of my party that's coming up because they're not going to be able to come to my party. So we had a test run. I'm having a garden party, and I've sent out invitations to my chosen invitees. And I tried to be really careful about how many people and who I invited, because I want to make sure that I don't have too many people where my head's gonna just say enough is enough at like 15 minutes into it. Um, but I also wanted to have a lot of people. I don't know. So anyway, I sent out my invitations. I made it all professional, like it's a garden party. That just means that, well, I want to have it on our deck because it's our new deck. For those of you who've been listening since last October, we got a new deck and a new patio and everything. So I wanted to have it out there. The weather's been a little iffy, so we'll see. But I have all these garden, flower, girly type activities that we're going to do. So I'm really excited. Some of the ladies asked about bringing their significant other. It's not that I'm opposed to that. I just feel as though the gentlemen will not enjoy our girly activities. But you never know. So I said, just FYI, this is what we're doing. So they're welcome to come if they want to. I did feel like I couldn't handle having kids there just because it's too much movement in the room or in my environment, and I would probably get nauseous having younger people there. So usually I am like 100% all for as many children as possible because they make me happy. But this time I felt like it was best if I did not invite little kids. So, anyway, that's what I'm doing for my celebration. It's coming up this weekend, this Sunday. So since my mom and my sister can't come, I did a little mini version. So we ate sushi. That's not what's happening at the party. But then we did a couple crafts. I had some painting supplies because painting is a big thing that I do in recovery now. And then I also painted this big canvas with some flowers. Like my friend said what kind of flowers they were, and I'm drawing a blank. I don't want to say peonies. I don't know. I can't remember, but I painted these big gigantic flowers on this big canvas, and then I painted a bunch of additional stems. So then I have these cutouts of flowers that I ordered on Etsy. So each person that attends is going to be asked to write something on the flower to, I said one word to describe our relationship with each other. Of course, my sister could not follow the rules, so she had to use more than one word. So anyway, so they and then you stick it on the canvas, and it's gonna be a big like crafty thing that I can have with me to remind me of all of my sober friends. So I'm really looking forward to it. I had a really, really nice day with my mom and my sister and my niece. And then my sister goes to these auctions. It's like an online auction, and she bids on jewelry, like boxes of jewelry, and brings them to me. And then I take the jewelry apart and create new, stylish jewelry. And so she surprised me and brought me this big, what are those things called? Sorry, but they're teddy bears and they're cookies, and it's a big, gigantic container. I'm having a hard time with words, so just bear with me. But she brought me one of those big containers, and it's full of jewelry, like super cool old necklaces and brooches and earrings and bracelets. It's like full of these super awesome pieces of jewelry. So I was going through, I think I got through a little over half of the container and made piles of like, what's the stuff that I'm going to keep for me? Because there's some that are super groovy that are in there. What are the things that are like super groovy, but they need to be fixed? Like maybe a little piece of metal needs to be bent, or there needs to be a new clasp put on, or something like that. So I have another pile for that. And then I have a pile of stuff that wasn't worth saving. And then a pile of necklaces, earrings, and bracelets that I can take apart and use the beads for new pieces of jewelry. And then there's also some like earrings that there's only one earring, but they have a lot of different like gems, like bling blings on them that I can pull off and use those in new jewelry. So that's one of my new little hobbies that I think is really fun because I get to make things and I also get to keep things for myself. I love jewelry, and some of the stuff I've been putting on Etsy. So I do have a few things to put on Etsy. So you can always go out and look at my Etsy shop. It's Recovery Daily is the shop name. I have a hard time finding it myself. So if you're a master navigator of Etsy, that's what it's called. I got to work on the SEO for that so it can show up better. But so that's what I did today. Um, I hit record because even though I didn't want to, I'm sorry. It's not you, it's me. I just have not been feeling like doing this. I've just been kind of in a little bit of a it's a funk only in the way that I don't want to talk unless don't speak unless spoken to. That's what I feel like. I feel like not speaking unless somebody is asking me a question. I just feel like I want to be quiet. And obviously, when I come on here, I'm like running my mouth at top speed. So I have been avoiding it a little bit. And I'm quite certain, people, that this has to do with my friend passing away that I found out last week that I've told you about. It's this is how I deal with stuff. I maybe I'm not isolating myself in the way that I used to, but I still retreat inside of myself. And that's what I'm doing. So I am trying to be a good example of what to do when you're fighting something like that. And I just am doing the next right thing. I'm just showing up and hitting record, even though I don't know what I'm going to say. Um, I did write down some notes from my morning meeting, and this morning, what I always say this, like, I don't know if it's what the reading was about, but this is what I heard. Um, it was talking about a person who had a late start in sobriety. And I was thinking about, right off the bat, I was thinking about all the different ages of people that come into sobriety. And I remember looking at some of the folks that were like in their 20s, and I was thinking, there is no freaking way I was ever mature enough to see that I needed to get help in my 20s. I'm just simply in awe of somebody who gets sober in their 20s. I also have seen folks come in their 80s, like come into the rooms and get sober for the first time in their 80s. And that is also um, fascinating to me because and so inspiring that someone feels that not like not giving up at that age, and this might be offensive, and I'm sorry if it is, but I just don't know if I would have that in me. Because even now, like I'm 50, I had my stroke, I have these things that I'm like, I battle with, oh, what's the point? I need to go to the psychiatrist in order to talk out that stuff because sometimes I'm challenged to even think, like, what's the point? Why show up for myself? And I imagine that when you're 80, that maybe that's even harder because you're also battling this additional fact that you're getting older. And I would imagine that I would probably think, what's the point too? But there's always a point. There's always a reason dis- to choose life when when we're struggling with alcohol. Like it's never too late. And then I was listening to the folks in my morning meeting, and we were talking about, I don't know, the topic was for me it felt like all over the place, but what my brain kept focusing on was how much we as human beings struggle with there's just hard stuff. Being human is hard, and having relationships is hard. This life is hard. And it's a wonder that so many of us are so strong. And then I think of that word strong and I'm like, that's not what it is though. It's strength to me makes me think that some of us can do it and some of us can't. Some of us have that ingredient inside of us that allows us to face challenges when other people don't have it, you know? Like I had my stroke, so I'm strong and I've been able to recover even through my stroke. That's not true. Anybody can do it. It's having the tools, it's being exposed to the recovery tools that allow you to walk through it. It reminds me of what I talked about a couple days ago. The point is not to be happy or unhappy. The point is how what we is facing our challenges and walk through it. And I've been telling you guys, I'm like, no, I disagree with that. It is all about being happy. Um, I think that I lost my train of thought. That's what I think. I think I lost my train of thought. That's the worst. But whatever. You finish the sentence there. This is an engaging podcast where I start the sentence and then you finish it. Sorry. That's what it's like to show up here. So what was really standing out to me today was this idea that we go through so many challenging things in our lives, and it looks like we're strong. It looks like we're courageous, but it doesn't feel like courage. It doesn't feel like strength. It feels like quite the opposite. It feels like fear and it feels like pain. It feels like I can't do it. But what other people look to is they see us do it and then they ask you, how did you do it? And then you talk about your experience. And through that conversation, it comes out as experience, strength, and hope. I hope that makes sense. So while we're facing these enormous struggles, people that, gosh, people that I've been talking to over the past, since I had my stroke, so much pain. So many people have lost loved ones. I have lost loved ones to the disease. Um, so much pain. And we, as we try to walk through it, we're negotiating with ourselves. We're having these battles inside, like feeling like I don't want to do it. I can't do it. I have to do it, and that's just moving forward. That's just getting up and going to work or getting out of bed. Like, I feel like through those challenging times, I am constantly negotiating with myself. Like, I'll do this, but I can't do this. It's constant. It's freaking constant. And right now I'm thinking of a friend in particular who lost her husband. And one of the struggles right now is feeling strong enough or being able to commit to something right now because the emotions are so up and down. And it just one minute you're, yeah, I'll go to, your party, Rachel, something like that. But the next minute it's like, I don't want to. I don't feel strong enough. I feel like I can't be with other people right now. And that's fine. I don't think that there are times when we do the next right thing and the next right thing is stepping out of ourselves and engaging with other people. Sometimes the next right thing isn't. Sometimes the next right thing is pulling back and being with ourselves and having self-care. But all of it is a constant negotiation with myself. And when I was back in the day when I was drinking, I wasn't negotiating anything. I wasn't doing anything. There wasn't any additional conversation that was going on in my head. There was just one person talking, and it was drunk Rachel. And she was not taking showers, not changing her clothes. Um, I was thinking this morning about like when I went to detox, either time that I went to detox, I don't even remember I don't remember any of that, like negotiating with myself then either. I don't remember going to meals. I mean, I've told you guys about the one meal I remember where the nurse came in and yelled at me when I was about 3 days in there and I had been unable to go to meals because I was on a walker and they were afraid I was going to fall. And then on the fourth day or the third day, the lady came in and was like, you need to get up and you need to go to dinner with the rest of us. That's the only dinner I remember going to. Anyway, that's kind of a side note, but I was thinking about all of this um, negotiating in my brain, choosing to do knowing what the next right thing is to do, but doing something else or trying to like, well, I'll do that and I won't do that. All that stuff that I was just talking about. I didn't have anything going on in my brain back then when I was drinking. I was really in quite a fog. Um, and I remember in early sobriety hearing not having that negotiation to even get that self negotiation to even get to a meeting. And then I would get to the meeting and I'm sitting there. And if I were to share, I was totally crying. And then I would hear other people share, and most people were very grateful. And then we'd get around the room to this one guy who was not grateful at all. He would say, um, Hi, I'm so and so. I'm an alcoholic, and I am sorry, but I am not grateful. I am not grateful to be here. This is the last thing I want to be doing is being a in a meeting because I'm an alcoholic. Like, I'm never going to be grateful that I'm an alcoholic. And whenever I would hear him say that, and he said it every week, um, I was thinking, I mean, he has a point. I don't know that I'm going to be grateful that I'm here. I don't know that I'm going to be grateful. And I would hear people say, I'm so and so, I'm a grateful recovering alcoholic. And I was like, why would you be a grateful recovering alcoholic? Why would you be grateful for that? And look at me now. From the moment I started recording this podcast, I have been Rachel, a grateful recovering alcoholic, because I got it. I finally get it. And the way that I was able to get it is because after working the steps, I was able to start looking outside of myself and seeing the incredible strength of all the people around me that were staying sober through hard stuff. And today, I get to say that I've been through hard stuff and I'm still sober too. And that's why I started thinking about strength because I'm like, when I look at these other folks, like my friend who lost her husband, or there's been a couple gentlemen in the rooms that I've run across who lost their children in various accidents. And, and and I would think when I'd look at these people, I'm like, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you go on. I don't know how you go on sober. Um, but what is the alternative? It's a choice. Am I going to live or am I going to die? That's not strength. It's a choice. That's what sobriety comes down to for me. And that's all I can talk about. I want to say for all of us, it comes down to a daily decision to admit that my life is unmanageable and if I drink and choose to not do it. Choose to stay committed to sobriety, stay consistent in going to my meetings and doing my podcast and all the other stuff that I do, getting on my knees and praying before I go to bed. All of this stuff is what allows me to keep walking forward through hard stuff. It's not strength. It looks like strength. I think when we see each other going through hard stuff, sober, or even if you're not in sobriety, when we see each other going through hard stuff, we think, "Oh, wow, she's really strong," or "He's really strong." But that's not what it is. I don't think it is. I think it's a decision um, that you are committed to. A decision for me is I choose to live. That's the decision. That's what strength is. If somebody else sees what I'm doing as strength, what I see it as, I chose to live because I was going to die. And I don't think any of us, when I hear people sharing about the hard stuff, I don't know that any of us give ourselves enough credit for the devastating amount of pain that we process in our lives. Um, I talked yesterday, I think, about accepting that nothing will change unless I change it. Looking at what's happening in front of me and making a decision based on whether I can change it or not, and making a decision to make a change. Like it's all just decisions. And if I have a my emotional and spiritual fitness, if I'm working on it, then I'm able to make decisions based on what's best for me. You know, they're realistic, um, sensible decisions. But if I'm not working my program, if I'm not showing up and sharing my podcast, if I'm not going to meetings, talking to my sponsor, working the steps, doing the things that Rachel has to do to be emotionally stable, because remember, I have some mental health issues. You know, I'm on anxiety and depression medication. I'm seeing a psychiatrist. I have to do a lot of work in order to just get myself to a point where I can function like other normal people and look at reality and accept it, figure out what I can change and what I can't change, and keep walking forward. I think some of us who have these invisible illnesses, we have to work harder. We have to make a decision more often. I'm choosing to live. I'm choosing to do the next right thing. I'm choosing the path of happy. I do feel, and this is just my opinion, that some of us have to make that decision more often throughout the day, even, in order to keep moving forward. And again, I don't think it's strength. I think it's work. It's making decisions. It's commitment. It's doing the work. And when you do the work, you know, maybe like when you're lifting weights and you just keep lifting small weights and you do it over and over again, you do become stronger. So maybe it becomes strength. That is a byproduct of it. But strength isn't what is the start of it. Strength is, I think, something that is built from practicing, doing the hard stuff and walking through it. I don't have to like the stuff that I have to do. Um, I just choose to be happy despite not liking what I have to do. So anyway, that was all over the place, but hopefully you got something out of it. I always do. When I show up here, I always do. Let me ask you something. I know you can't respond, but I was thinking of changing up the podcast a little bit and trying to maybe professionalize it a little more. The problem is, or the issue, it's not a problem, it's a challenge that I'm not, that I don't know if I want to commit to it, would be that I start creating a spot like I used to in the very beginning, a spot where I record and it's all the lighting is fixed and everything. And then I've already got my mic, which I started using again. For a while there, I wasn't using my mic. I think it's better when I use my mic. But I was thinking of even, I don't know, putting on makeup and doing my hair. Now, that is the commitment I'm not sure I'm willing to make because I feel like if there's too much I have to do before I record, it's going to be even more of a deterrent. And one of the things I really like about the way that I'm doing it right now is that I feel like the way that the podcast is recorded now is like we just pulled up a chair next to each other and we're talking to each other. That's what I feel like. A lot of times when I'm talking, I'm picturing one of you while I'm talking. Some of you that I know that listen, I'm just picturing you and I'm talking to you. So what would I do? I don't know. I was thinking about making a commercial or like an opening that has maybe my logo is animated or something like that. So these are just ideas that I was thinking. I feel like I need a change. That's all. I think I need a change, but I'm not going to change recording every day. I do feel like I miss more often than I used to, but I think that's because I'm giving myself some grace, which I wasn't doing before. So I hope it doesn't bother you. If any of you are have any suggestions or have any comments about how the podcast is doing, whatever, please send them to me. I'd be more than happy to read what you've got to say. You can email me at rachel@recoverydailypodcast.com, or you can send me a message on any one of the various social media um, channels. So I'm going to stop babbling now. Thanks for coming and happy anniversary to me. Happy anniversary. Happy anniversary. Happy anniversary. Bye.